Hello, everyone. My name is Dewana. I work on the marketing team here at Cricut. I'm also the admin for the Cricut official Facebook page. And I am here with Ashish, who is our CEO. And we are going to talk about some amazing updates we've done in 2024 around software and a few insights to some things that we're working on for 2025.
All right. Thanks, Ivana, for having me. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are, or good evening, because I know we have lots of global users, or good early morning when you wake up and see this video. We actually posted on Facebook a couple of days ago how we are excited to talk about everything that we've accomplished in 2024 and a glimpse of what areas we are going to address in 2025. 2024 was, I believe, an inflection point for us, especially from a platform perspective. Across the board, and we'll cover a little bit of that today, we've touched on performance and reliability and usability and making it easy for everybody to use and added tons of content and made every single part of the experience better. Having said that, we are not satisfied. We have come a long way, but we have a long ways to go. But more than anything, I just want to say thank you to all the members who provide us feedback. And I'm looking forward to spending the next 20 minutes or so and going through some of the many, many, many changes that we accomplished in 2024. So this video should be a good wrap of at least giving you a good sense of what we did and what we plan to do in the future. So,
Yes, and there is so
yeah.
much, right? We did so much in 2024. And so I'm going to highlight a few things that we've talked about in previous videos. So if you haven't seen those, I would go back and look at them, and then we'll dig into deeper to maybe a couple of things that you haven't seen. So let me share my screen here.
So do you want to, I call this the housekeeping section, like everything that users can do to optimize their design space experience on settings, etc. So looking.
Yeah. So if you haven't spent any time in settings, just take a few minutes, go through them. It's in the upper right-hand corner under your profile. You click on settings. There's a ton of stuff in here. So it's got a lot of general information. Here you can go in to check for updates. You have your content settings that we've talked about in a previous video, but we have system settings here as well. This is a great place to go if you are having problems with your design space and it may be running a little bit slow. This will tell you what your computer has available to run the design space program. So it's a really great place to go. Another thing that we've done recently is machines, the new product setup guides. Super easy, super nice flow, especially to get you started with Bluetooth and things like that. We do everything for you now, so it makes it nice and quick and easy. So spend some time and look through the settings there.
Devan, let me just add one metric. So we've talked about this, but we have made our teams have made it so incredibly easy for people to get set up, whether it's a second machine or first-time users who are going to buy machines for them to get set up. And we track ourselves by how many people were able to set up their machine and Bluetooth in 5 minutes or less. And that number has jumped dramatically. So, which just speaks to the way our teams have designed the user experience so that people can just get up and running quickly to get to their creativity, etc. So we're really excited about that.
That is incredible. I love hearing that. I think the Bluetooth improvement is just huge. Makes everyone's life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
We've also done a lot to help people get started. So we've added in a lot of resources that people can find quickly to help them get started. So we added the Get Started page here that has a lot of videos for people to review and walk through. We have the Universal Help now that has a lot of links to valuable resources that people need to help them get started. And we also have the new chat AI down here. So if you have a question midstream in the middle of a project, you can always ask your question here and get an answer. And this little chat AI is on every page that you're in Design Space. So whether you're on home or Canvas, it's going to be in this lower right-hand corner. So
And
great.
that's still in beta, or has that been rolled out to everybody, the AI chat?
That has been rolled out to everybody.
Okay. And so that's not a chatbot, right? It's really kind of, it has very intelligent answers that, basically we've trained our algorithms and engines.
Mhm.
And I would encourage people to use it and they run into a problem. And I ask questions all the time, right? Saying, why are my images moving around when I go from the canvas to the matte preview? Right.
Yeah.
So it's some really good help online. And do you
Mhm.
want to touch on how to's?
Yes, and then we have a destination page up here. So these little icons up here are clickable. So if you wanted just like Thanksgiving images, you'd click there. But this how-to is a great resource if you're just getting started, because it also includes a lot of videos on getting started in Design Space. Here's all of your downloadable, printable checklists and guides, making vinyl projects, making paper projects, flowers. It's just a great resource overall for you to go to if you're just getting started with Cricut.
Let's talk a little bit about personalization, Divana. So far we've talked about everything that users, our members can do to optimize their design space experience based on the machine they have, based on content settings. But there's a lot of work our teams are doing to help personalize experiences for people. So when we ask our members saying, why have you not crafted? People say, well, I ran out of time, or I couldn't find, there wasn't a reason to do a project, or I couldn't find the inspiration I was looking for. So our
Mhm.
data teams and our software teams have spent a tremendous amount of time, looking basically doing personalization. So we built up, algorithms that actually track your behavior, that basically understand the things that you are looking for, you have looked for in the past, what things appeal to you. And so when you come into design space, there's an inspire screen which Divana can hover over. So these are all projects that every single member will get different sets of projects based on their unique tastes and things that they have done in the past.
Yes.
If you go
And this
back
is
to the
different every
homepage,
time I go in there. This is
that's
different
right.
every time I go, so it's very inspiring. I love to look at it all the
So
time. Yes.
go into the homepage. So these images for you and project for you, these are two ribbons that we see a tremendous amount of user engagement because they are again optimized for people's personal tastes and behaviors, right? So we want to make sure that you don't have to spend time looking for content. We can proactively serve you content, sometimes based on things that you may have looked for in the past, but at other times that things that you may be interested in, right? So not only is this going to be available on your screen when you come in, but through our mobile apps, we're going to be able to push inspiration and to give you things that may want you to be creative in crafting. So again, the idea is that if you run out of time or if you don't think of an idea, our job is to surface inspiration that may want you to craft or make things for people. Or even when you're looking for projects, how do we make it very, very easy for you to find the image or project? I'll also talk about search later on. But again, I just want to talk about how Design Space is going to get very, very personalized and how it is getting very personalized to your unique forms of crafting, your unique tastes and inspiration, etc.
The team has done such a phenomenal job with this because as you can see, these are all images that I would use. These are all projects that I would make. I've even gotten some of them bookmarked. So they've done a phenomenal job in knowing what my interests are and what I want to craft. So that's incredible.
Joanna, you have a lot of farm theme going on. There are a lot of like
And,
animal and
well, I
track.
just recently moved to a farm, so everything is farm. Everything is farm.
Love it.
Yes. Okay, so let's move to Canvas and talk a little bit about the updates that we have made there. We have a lot of new tools on Canvas to help us, to help the user get through their project. So one of the things here, let me get some images out here. Let's just do turkey since, that's coming up here soon. So let's just add a couple of, let's just add a turkey. And we'll come back to the image panel, but I wanted to show you something else really quickly as well. Let's just add this little turkey here. Okay, so now when you hover over the layers panel, if I select my images here, a little toolbox will come up. And let me select the images. And as I say that, it doesn't. Oh, here we go. Yep, it was just me. Okay, let me go back and select these images. And if I hover over one of the tools in the layer panel, it'll actually come up with a little definition of what attach means and what it can do for you. Same thing with flatten. And then when I go into the combine, it will leave you a definite definition of each one of these tools as well.
So I think there are all of these little helpful tips and tricks that allow, especially even sometimes when people come back, when our members, when you all come back and you haven't used Design Space for a few months, just giving people a reminder of what that tool is, right, is so helpful. one of the other things that our teams have done is really kind of, there's lots and lots of things that the team is working on to make it just a, more usable. So things that have frustrated us in the past, things that are just like a little bit of micro frustration, but people can't put their finger on it, saying, why is this so irritating? And we've done a lot of usability improvements. Giovanna is going to talk one such improvement. And again, there are dozens of these improvements that we made behind the scenes.
Yeah, so one of the frustrations I think some of our users have felt is once they have their project together and they have it all grouped or attached or however they want to move forward with it, that once they do the group, they can't select individual images. They could not select individual images.
Unless
Ungrouped everything,
ungroup
yes.
them, yeah.
Yeah, but now I can, and I can actually move it around. So if I didn't like the way I grouped it, I can just select that one image and move it back to where I want it. And again, the whole thing is still grouped. So again, just clicking on one image, love it, right? Makes it so easy. So that is an incredible improvement.
Yeah.
So one of the other things I wanted to talk a little bit about is the image panel. We did talk about this, I believe, in the last video. So go back and check that. So I'll just highlight it pretty quickly.
Ivana, let me just kind of set this up. I think you're going to talk about image panel, the font panel, and projects and shapes.
Yes.
But in the past, we had this area called the canvas where people are designing and making projects.
Mhm.
And then if you wanted to search for content, you had to leave that screen and go off to another place. And then as you're selecting images, you didn't know how those images would stack up relative to each other. Right. And I almost give it like the cooking paradigm. Imagine you're at the cooking table or the kitchen, and every time you had to get an ingredient or a tool, you had to go back to the drawers or go back to the fridge. Versus, as if you had everything already laid out on the kitchen counter, all you're doing is mixing and matching. So we wanted to bring all the content to the place where you are designing, right? You still have the drawers and the fridges that you can go back to for full-blown experiences, which is what Divana is going to show. But we wanted to bring the content to your point of focus where you are designing. So whether it's fonts, whether it's images, whether it's projects, whether it's shapes, that's one of the biggest changes we made, is to bring that content to the canvas where you are designing things. So Divana is going to walk you through some of the details of those panels.
Yes. So if you're on the image panel, there's a lot of information on this image panel. And like Ashish said, it's right on your countertop. It's right there for you. So if I search turkey, I'll get all of these images. If I just click on the turkey, let's just click on this one, for example. It's going to give me similar images. So if I wanted to make a project and I want things that kind of go together, this is a great place to go explore more. And then I click view all, and it's going to give me all the images kind of related to the image that I had selected. So I think that is a huge benefit. It's going to save time on searching and trying to find images that go with the image that I had selected. So that is such a huge
And you can
improvement.
still go get the big advanced search. You don't have to do that, but you can still
Yeah,
get
so
the.
if I wanted to go back to the pantry, I can still click on this advanced search and it's going to take me back to the full pantry. Another cool thing about this is you can bookmark from here as well. And then when you hit this little plus button, it'll take it right over to your campus. So nice and easy. Such a great improvement in our image panel to find relative images and get you what you need. You can also look for your bookmark here as well. I don't have any turkey bookmarked projects, but let's look for maybe truck. But if you have images in your bookmark, it's going to bring those up for you as well. Nice and easy. So great improvements to the image panel. We've also made some improvements to our shapes panel. So previously, when you wanted to select a shape, you had to do one at a time, right? So open those shapes, add one to your canvas, and it would automatically close. Then you have to open it again, switch over. But now I can just open it and select as many as I want. And as soon as I'm done, I can just close it and you're ready to go. So that is a huge improvement to the shapes panel as well. One of the things that our members asked for, and we listen, because trust me, we listen very carefully to everything that they're requesting, is previously when you had an image and you wanted to do a pattern, there was no way to delete the pattern. So now there is. So now if I go to print and cut, and I want to use a pattern and say, oh no, I've uploaded this pattern twice. Now we have a little trash can where I can just delete it and keep it nice and clean and organized. That was one of the things that people requested. It was a huge benefit. So very excited about that. What other things have we done to make it so nice? So if I go to my projects, let me go here and go to my stuff. So previously, when you opened a project, it would zoom right to the upper left-hand corner, whatever your image was. Now you can see it zooms to include all of the images in your project. So you can see here it only zoomed to 63% because I had these little boxing gloves over here. I wasn't sure I wanted to use it for the image or not. If it didn't zoom to 63% and zoom to 100%, all I would have seen is this, and I would have hit make it and go. And then when I wouldn't have realized it until I got to my matte screen, and then I would have had to start all over again. So just these little tweaks, right, Ashish, that we have made to make life so much easier for our users. It's just incredible.
And it's, you know, again, as I said, these are micro frustrations. And as we've understood user behavior, as we've looked at things, our goal is to continue to find these little wins to make the application. So it's not going to be one big thing. Obviously, there'll be some big things, but there are these dozens and dozens and dozens of improvement that just, you know, get in the way of the experience. And our goal is to make it silk smooth. And that's what we're planning to do. So
I
Divan, I
love
know we'll come back to fonts panel a little bit later, right? Are you going to talk about print and cut?
I am going to talk about print and cut because I want to show you some really cool things with the font panel, but we'll come back to that after we get through this. So we have made some great improvements to print and cut. One of them, let me show you one of them, and then we'll talk about some other improvements that we made that are not as visible. But say I wanted to print this little turkey guy here. And I just need one of him for right now. I'm already printed, but now if you'll notice when I click on this, the fiducials, the corner fiducials wrap around my image, Ashish. So I get to save all of that material on my sheet that I can use again. Previously, we had the fiducials that would come into the corners, the 8.5 by 11 corners, but now we've moved it to where it just surrounds the image that we're wanting to print so that I can save all of that material.
I love
Huge.
it.
Love that, yes. We also created a universal calibration sheet. Big improvement. It helps walk you through all the steps of calibrating your machine on one sheet. And we've really perfected the calibration process. So there aren't any more issues going forward with that. The other thing that we
It's
did.
you know, I think we made massive, massive strides. It's been an area that we probably spent the last 12, 18 months. In fact, on a few of my posts last couple of days, several people commented that the print and cut was flawless. Now, there's always some nuances to printers that sometimes can still make, you know, add just a little bit of a little outline. But for the most part, like, you know, we see a massive improvement to print and cut. This is a major area for many of our users and things that we focus on for the last 12, 18 months. And I think we're going to continue to make improvements in this area. So I'm super excited about that.
I am too. The other thing that we changed with print and cut, Ashish, is the way that your machine scans the images, right? I could never figure that out. I never knew where it was going to go to try and find those fiducials. And it kind of just did funny things. But now it starts from the left side, goes to the right, goes down to the bottom left side and goes to the bottom right, makes it nice and easy and quick. So love those updates. I am going to
So
switch.
while you're bringing up font panel, I know, Divana, you're going to bring that up. Let me just talk a little bit about search, right? So I previously talked about personalization and saying we want to make it easy for people to find the content that they're looking for. So search has been a huge effort for us. We've already implemented most of the changes for image search. our teams are still working on project search. So most of the improvements I'm going to talk about are today about image search. Based on all the work that we've done, we've seen a significant reduction in the amount of time it takes for people to search for an image and put it on the canvas. We have data that we can see, as to how that improvement's manifested itself. We also have a huge majority of people that are able to find the content they're looking for right from within Design Space. So super excited. On top of that, there are lots of usability improvements, recent searches and all the things that you expect from modern applications that the team has implemented. Uh, we've done I won't go into the details of technologies, but we have this concept called semantics that allows people to visually understand an image and be able to render those results. So, again, you'll see those improvements in images. As I said before, for projects, we are implementing the same changes now. So in 2025, you'll see that search experience improve across the board. Do you want to be, you're on mute, so.
That's incredible. So much work has been done. And I apologize. I have a little doggy here who hears something outside, so he is going to bark a little bit. But I am excited to share something around the font panel that is going to be coming out soon. It'll probably come out on iOS and Android first, and then desktop and beta. But let me share my.
You're going to share your screen again.
Yes, I am. Okay, so super excited about this. I think you all are going to absolutely love it. But I've added some text here to Cricut onto the canvas. Now I'm going to go into the font panel. And if you remember, we moved the font panel over to the left-hand side a few months ago. But look
Not
at
copying your design anymore.
look at what you're seeing. This is so excited. So whatever I have typed in the text box is going to show in all the different fonts. So you're going to know exactly what that's going to look like. Is that not just incredible?
Ivana, how do I know this is not a canned demo? Can you just type your name instead? I want to make
Sure,
sure.
let me do that. Give it a minute and look at that.
There
So
you
now
go.
I know, yeah, so now I know exactly what my name is going to look like depending on the font. There's some other great features that were added too. So these little pillboxes up here, before it just said the type of font, but now when you look at them, so the decorative actually has a decorative font. So when I click on that, you'll know what type of fonts that you're going to be pulling up here. So that is incredible. And then we also have featured fonts. Let me go back up to the top here. And now we have these featured fonts at the top. And Ashish, what these are the most used fonts in Design Space. Really popular fonts, ones that we intuitively think that you are going to like and want to use. Instead of having them alphabetical where you had to scroll and scroll and scroll to find the really cool fonts, now we have them here for you under featured fonts. You can
So,
still
Ivana,
start.
just to be sure, while I'm super excited, I want to make sure I get some insurance. This is still not a release feature, right? Our teams have been working on it. We wouldn't have shown it to you if we weren't pretty confident that it'll make it to the finish line. We're not giving a timeline, but we couldn't do this video and not show some of the improvements that we have made in fonts. In fact, Divana and I were even discussing that, in the next few weeks, we might just do a video just on fonts. Our teams have done a tremendous amount of work, and I'm super proud of the teams for everything that we are doing in the world of fonts to make it easier for people to design their projects. So hopefully you will hear from us just primarily on fonts. So that's how excited we are about fonts in general.
Yes, so many exciting things, but yes, for clarity, this is not out yet. I'm showing you something that super secretive still, and the team is still working on it.
Yeah. Divana,
Super.
should we shift to 2025 and just kind of talk a little bit about about some of the things?
Yeah, so let's talk about 2025 and what the team is working on and what our focuses are and things
Yeah.
like that.
Feel free to jump in. But one of the things that I first and foremost wanted to highlight is, we about 6 to 8 months ago, we made a concerted effort on reliability and performance and to really understand which parts of the application across which operating systems, how the application was behaving, and little by little we've nipped away at it today, we made performance improvements to the canvas, performance improvements to search, things when things were sluggish at times. We're going to continue to do that, right? There's a whole reliability and performance effort that went across. We redid our organization, we redesigned our processes, we went after trying to reproduce issues that people are having. And again, I'm super proud of the team, that focused on this effort. The other thing is, you know, as we think about the future of design space, you know, it's more and more obvious for us to start with this idea of a project intent, right? As to what are users trying. I won't go into the detail, but I talk about philosophy of where design space is going. So in addition to the blank canvas, in addition to people, having an idea and coming to the canvas and putting their images together, we we wanted to start to create these user journeys around what project type they're trying to make. And based on the project type, whether you're trying to make a t-shirt or trying to make a vinyl decal, how do we, give you the content? How do we narrow down the choices of images and projects and text that would work in that context? How do we just give you the tools, that only the tools that you would need? Again, I go back to the cooking example. If you're baking a cake, you don't need certain kitchen tools to bake a cake. So why put them out there? So I think the idea of understanding the context of what people are trying to do with their end result, how do we streamline the experience and make it really, really easy and simple for users to design the project that they're looking for? So I think you'll see significant improvements there. There's lots of usability improvements that we showed today. Divana, you showed, how we can select an object even after it's been attached or grouped. We talked a little bit about how the font panel doesn't cover the canvas. There's just lots of improvements that we're trying to make from a usability perspective. These are, again, just to make the experience incredibly simple and seamless. We talked a little bit about fonts. I'm just making sure I read my notes and don't forget all the things that we
So
promised.
much stuff. Yeah.
Fonts are a huge area. Divana and I will come back and do a video just on fonts. We are super, super excited about all the team, what the teams are working on. And then, as I said, we are trying to make Design Space a powerful tool, but at the same time, make it incredibly easy and not add complexity to your workspace. Continued work on personalization. What are some of the things, Divana, that I missed that we should have talked about?
I mean, and another minor thing, but makes a big difference is just how we change the print and cut fiducials, right? Like you're gonna save a whole sheet of paper if you're just wanting that one little image. So just so many minute little things that we have made changes to that just makes our experience so much better.
Yeah, yeah. So I always talk about, like the user journey or our journey with our members starts with the purchase of a machine, where it continues to live on the platform. But our relationship with our members and their creativity is through the Design Space platform.
Mhm.
We want to make it incredibly frictionless for our members to come in and design projects. We want to take all the friction away from our users. We want to continue to, and the way we do it is by listening to our members all the time, by understanding how they are using our products and our platform, and making changes so that it can be made into a seamless and reliable experience. We want to ultimately, you know, create design space or build design space or develop design space in a way that every user is able to make the project they want in as little a time as they want. So I am once again thankful to my team, our team. We want to thank you for putting this wonderful wrap for 2024 and a little preview of 2025. I want to thank our members. I want to thank all of you, which is as you're going to be watching this video, is giving us a chance to serve you. We are just getting started, and I couldn't be more excited where we are going to help unleash people's creativity and to help everyone and all of us lead creative lives. So anything that Divana, you want to add?
No, I just want to thank, like you, thank everyone for watching, and Ashish, thank you for your time for walking us through all of this and giving us your thoughts and insights into 25 as well.
I couldn't think of a better way to spend my morning. So thank you for having me. And like I said, looking forward to the next update.
Thank you all.